Today we are going to be talking about type 1 diabetes, what it means and how it affects our bodies, and how to take care of yourself or someone who has type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disorder, which means that your body gets confused about which cells are good and which cells are bad in your body. This causes your body to mistake the good cells for bad cells, and this leads to your body attacking itself instead of attacking the bad cells that should not be in your body. Your body is made up of trillions of tiny cells. These cells are like a door, each with their own unique lock and key. The pancreas is an organ in your body that makes insulin. I want you to think of insulin as the key to the door. When you eat food, your stomach breaks it down into sugar that makes its way to your blood. Once sugar is in your blood, it wants to get inside the door of your cells so that it can be used for energy, to do things like play and do sports. For the sugar to get into the cell, it needs the insulin key to open the lock on the cell door. Once sugar has the insulin key, it can leave the blood and enter the cell. Once your cells have sugar, it gives you the energy to play, learn, and grow. When you have type 1 diabetes, your pancreas stops making the insulin key, so the sugar is locked out of your cells and stuck in the blood. This causes it to build up in your blood, and then it cannot enter your cells, so you don't have any energy. When your cells run out of sugar, they can't make energy, and this causes your blood to fill up with sugar, which can make you feel sick. Take Peter, for example. Peter is a 10-year-old boy who lives with his mom, dad, little brother, and he loves to play outside with his friends and go to school. For the past few months, Peter has been wetting the bed at night, feeling very tired, too tired to play with his friends, and he complains of not being able to see the board in class. He also feels more hungry and more thirsty than normal. Peter's parents decided it was time to bring him to his family doctor. Peter's mom explains what has been going on to the doctor, and the doctor decides to run some tests. Peter gets his blood drawn to test the amount of sugar in his blood. The results showed that he had really high amounts of sugar in his blood, higher than normal for a kid his age. The doctor then ran another blood test that showed that his pancreas is not making insulin, so he knows it is type 1 diabetes. Now that we know Peter has type 1 diabetes, the doctor can help Peter learn how to manage this condition. There is no cure for type 1 diabetes, but it is something that can be managed so Peter can get back to playing, learning, and growing. There is a medication that acts like the insulin key to unlock the door to let sugars into cells, which is perfect since Peter's body doesn't have the insulin key. The insulin medication can be given throughout the day, like before snack, after recess, before bed. It all depends on which medication Peter chooses to use. The medication comes in the form of a needle, and I know this might sound scary, but the needle is very, very tiny and feels like a mosquito bite. It's important to note that before you ever take your insulin, you should make sure that your mom, your dad, your teacher, a grandparent, or a caregiver checks to see how much sugar is already in your blood. To do this, you need to prick your finger for a drop of blood and place the blood on a scanner. The scanner will let you know how much sugar is in your blood and how much more or less you need in order to keep it at a healthy level. I want you to meet April. April is a type of insulin medication that is really fast. She usually starts working at the beginning of meals. April is really similar to human insulin and works quickly and for a short amount of time. She drops the level of sugar in Peter's body. Now I want you to meet Nova. Nova is a different type of insulin medication. She needs more time than April to start working, about 30 to 60 minutes before mealtime. Lenny is another type of insulin that's used to increase the amount of sugar in his blood. He starts working after 1 to 3 hours and up to 18 hours long. He should be taken at night before bedtime so he can work throughout the night. Finally, I want you to meet Kate, who is another type of insulin that starts working 90 minutes after she has been injected. She works the longest, up to 24 hours, and is usually also injected at bedtime. April, Nova, Lenny, and Kate all have one thing in common. They help Peter when his blood sugars are high by giving him enough insulin to open the doors to his cells and letting the sugars enter instead of letting them build up in his blood. Sometimes, unless being carefully watched, Peter's blood sugars can get really low. And if there is ever a time when Peter has low blood sugar, he may feel very tired, have a white face, be sweating and shaking, and this can be caused by taking too much insulin, by skipping meals or eating less than normal, or exercising more than usual. When this happens, Peter should drink some juice and eat food that has a lot of sugar in it, like fruit or crackers, to help bring his blood sugars up. If Peter ever forgets to take his insulin, if he skips his medication, or eats a lot of carbs like pasta or pizza, or if he isn't being active enough or playing outside, the sugars in his blood can build up and make him have high blood sugars. When Peter's blood sugar is high, he may feel really thirsty, have a headache, have trouble seeing, and he might need to go to the bathroom a lot. When this happens, Peter needs to check his blood sugar and take insulin if it's too high. This will help take the sugar out of his blood and lower his blood sugar. He can also drink water, which will help take the sugars out of his blood. It's important to look for these different changes in order to keep your blood sugars at a normal level so you can stay healthy and happy. The more you learn about how to manage your blood sugars, the better you will feel. Remember, type 1 diabetes can be managed by keeping track of the sugars in your blood. By taking insulin to help prevent the buildup of sugar in your blood and letting them into your cell can help keep you healthy and happy. Let's review what we learned about type 1 diabetes. In type 1 diabetes, your pancreas does not make insulin, and insulin is needed to unlock the door to your cell to let sugars in and prevent it from building up in the blood. Your cells use the sugars for energy. In type 1 diabetes, you can use insulin medications that act like real insulin to manage your blood sugar levels. This will let the sugars out of your blood and into your cells where it belongs to give you the energy to live a healthy and happy life. We hope that you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.